The last round of
horror show.
I discovered there is life after death.
How do you know?
There is a certain mental transference, telepathy that occurs between the vampires and their victims.
So let the sun shine in, face it with a grin. Smilers never lose, and frowners never win. So let the sun.
You are watching the Last Roundup Horror Show. I am Frank, and we got the crew here again. We got Jason Miller.
What's
There
up,
he
guys?
is. We got Ray McGuff, Randy Wotan.
Hey ho!
There he is. And John Walmsley.
Hey, what's
This
going on, everyone?
Soon to be the horror face of horror, the final
The
face
new
of
face
horror.
of horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, people got to vote. Got to get out there and
Yeah.
vote.
Hit them
Buy
votes.
some votes. It's 2 for 1 today.
Just like Kamala Harris, get out the vote. That's what I
Yep.
say.
Get out there
Not
and buy
going back.
votes. Just like, come on.
I'm not going
It's
back to this non-face of horror life.
That's right.
So we're still continuing. This is our Halloween special, I guess you could say. We're continuing the franchise, the Halloween franchise. We've got into the area where a lot of people get a little bit worked up over these two movies we're going to talk about. And I don't really know why, because they're not like the most egregious entries into I mean, there's some stuff that sucks in both of them, but anyways, let's start with 1998's Halloween H20, 20 years later. Summary for this film: Laurie Strode, now the dean of a Northern California private school with an assumed name, must battle the shape one last time as the life of her own son hangs in the balance. Directed by Steve Miner, who did Friday the 13th parts 2 and 3. He also did House, Soul Man, if you're familiar with that fun movie.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
He did Warlock, Forever Young, the Rick Moranis Tom Arnold movie Big Bully. I don't know if you've seen that.
I've seen that.
He also did Lake Placid and the 2008 Day of the Dead remake, which I have not heard anything about. That is that should we watch that sometime?
I think that was a direct-to-video remake,
but
and
I
it
mean,
didn't. I think it had Sid Haig in it, didn't it? I can't remember.
I don't know. No, that was like Night of the Living Dead 3D or something like that.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I remember when it came out, and everybody said it was horrible, though. So I don't know.
You would it must not. It must be, because we would have heard something about it.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first? Oh, I got the writers here. Hold on. Written by Robert Zappia. He's known mostly for rip-off films. I got a couple of them here. Tell me if you can guess what movie it's ripping off. Okay. The first one is called Chop Kick Panda. Huh? Anybody?
Oh shit!
Yeah,
that on the nose, huh?
Yeah.
Chop Kick Panda.
Chop Kick Panda.
Oh,
and then we got Puss in Boots: A Furry Tale, which isn't the. I mean, Puss in Boots is probably like a public domain story, so it's not necessarily connected to Shrek. But then this one's funny: Tappy Toes, which is like Happy Feet.
Oh, God.
He did a lot of the Tom and Jerry movies, and in 2022 he returned to writing horror with a screenplay for Pray for the Devil. This also has additional writing credits for John Carpenter and Deborah Hill for the original story and characters. Okay, now who wants to go first?
Wait, can I ask you? I thought Kevin Williamson did the script for this as well, and then he got fired or something, or quit, and then they redid it.
Maybe I didn't look too far. There's for both these Halloween movies, there's pages of weird trivia, so that might have happened. I'm not sure.
And they used his treatment as like the bones, and then they added their own shit.
I know originally they wanted John Carpenter to do this movie because Jamie Lee Curtis had a lot of pull, and she wanted to have the whole old gang back together. But I think Carpenter hit him with like a a huge number, like it was a crazy amount of money, and then he wanted a 3-picture deal. So like they were like, nah, and he's like, I don't give a shit, whatever. It didn't matter to me.
Yeah.
But who wants to go first? Anybody?
I'll go first.
I'll go first.
Oh, there we go.
All
Jump
right.
in.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, American Slasher, direct sequel to Halloween 2, and this one brings us back to the Laurie Strode versus Michael Myers. Um, I I think it's a great cast. I like all the characters in this. I love the Northern California setting. I love the Hillcrest Academy. I think it's I don't know. It looks really cool at night. They did a great job with the lighting. It's lit well. I think it scored well too. There was a couple of times where, like, well, it's funny. I'm going to mention Tom and Jerry, right? Because, well, I'll get to that point later. But um, there's a couple of times where the score is like really exciting. Like I feel like it's almost
Like a
almost
cartoon.
well, yeah, a little too exciting for what was actually happening on the screen. But anyway, like I found myself kind of like bouncing in my seat and like going along with the score. Um, Not a lot of kills in this, which there really isn't a lot of kills in a Halloween movie anyway, which kind of leads me back to this. The Halloween franchise is more of a cat and mouse, I feel, with Laurie and Michael. At least that's what I want it to be. That's what feels good to me. Um, not a lot of blood. Again, not really ever in Halloween's. Um, One thing I absolutely can't stand about this movie, and it's in Resurrection too. The Michael dropping from the ceiling with one arm, like
Yeah, that was crazy.
that's
That was so dumb.
even if he's
So out of
dropping.
character.
Let's say he was dropping down from somewhere. At least at H20, like the ceiling's right above that pipe. So like, where was he? Like
Well, I kept thinking
was
about
he-
it.
How was he perched up there? Was he like Spider-Man
That's what I
against the
mean.
wall?
That's what I
And
mean.
that's-
Like he has to be like a gymnast, like holding himself straight out.
And
on
in
bars or
Resurrection,
something, right?
he's holding onto a ledge with like 3 fingers.
It's very he must have been spending 20 years taking gymnastic lessons or something. But I remember I saw this in a theater, and like I said, there's not a lot of great kills in this. Actually, pretty tame for a Halloween movie, really. But I remember sitting there at the end, great kill, right? But I had mixed feelings because she chopped off his head. I'm like, what? Like that was really cool and all, but now there's no possible way Myers can come back, and they just killed off the whole Halloween franchise. And not that there really has been a Halloween, at least a good one, since anyway. So we haven't really got a whole lot from him to begin
Well, I
with.
mean,
But
6 is the best one, so.
huh?
I said, well, 6 is like the best one, so.
Well, that's what. I mean,
Whenever
that's
that came
before. So, yeah, that's before this. So it doesn't. Like I
Yeah.
said, nothing really after that. But anyway, yeah, great ending, great kill. This is I don't know, this movie, it feels good. I don't know what they did. This movie feels like a Halloween movie to me. It's one of my favorite movies out of the 90s. LL Cool J, I liked him. I thought he was
Yeah, he was good.
the
I thought it might have
the
been his
style-
first movie, but it wasn't. It was not his
well,
first movie.
it's
I
not
thought
necessarily that he did fine acting, but just his role with his wife on the phone or girlfriend or whatever,
yeah.
them
That
going
was
back
fun,
and
yeah.
forth, like, yeah, that was just
That was
I
fun.
was just comparing it I was comparing it to he follows this up, I think, immediately with Deep Blue Sea, which he is lit up in that movie. Like he's a character in that fucking movie. He's got a bird, he's called the preacher or something. He's like a
Mhm.
whole character. It's like just a different vibe. This stuff this felt a little more subdued, but then when I pulled up his IMDb, he's in like 4 or 5 movies before this, and then like a ton of music videos that aren't even his shit. Like he was just popping up all over the place back then. Big
Were they horror
superstar.
movies?
No, they were like street movies. He would be like Marco and like, whatever.
Yeah, so
The
I
90s
started
was heavy
thinking
with
about
those.
all the rappers that are in horror movies. Like what was I looking at today? I was on IMDb today and saw Coolio. I forget what
Oh,
movie
he's
he's
in
in.
Leprechaun. He's in
Mhm.
Yeah,
Leprechaun in the
but there's
Hood.
like a lot of
And
rappers like started to get
Ice
into horror
T.
movies.
Oh yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
They were
Did I give
marketable.
this a score yet?
No.
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 Oh, it's a 7 out of 10 for me.
Right
Who's
on.
next?
All right,
Who's
I'll go.
next?
All right. So yeah, Frank, you covered it was a direct sequel to Halloween 2. So what happened at the end of Halloween 2? He got burned up.
Everyone should have died
And
at the end of Halloween 2.
yeah,
Loomis should
everyone,
have died. Michael should have died. Laurie should have died.
right.
It
So
blew up, right?
the room did. She got out. She got out of the
After
room.
she shot him in both eyes.
Right? When she could barely see because the gas was like
Sharpshooter.
making her. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think I saw this one in the theater. Me and my dad went and saw it. And I liked it. And I've watched it over the years and stuff. But watching it this time, I don't know. Felt like a chore this time around. I don't know. Maybe the new trilogy, with older Jamie Lee maybe jaded me a little bit because I love the first one so much. I was like, that's how you fucking do it. Because I love the first of the new trilogy a lot.
Now, with the new trilogy, what movies are supposed to have happened before that? Is that just
one.
coming straight off of one?
Yeah, just the
Okay.
first one. Yeah.
Because I could not picture this version of Laurie Strode turning into that woman. I mean, at the end, a little bit, but I mean, that woman's like a MAGA prepper. Like
She's like Sarah Connor from Terminator,
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a doomsday prepper.
Yeah.
Michael is doomsday for her.
We can all agree that she would have a Trump sign in her yard. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. She would have it.
I don't know. I don't think she'd have any sign. She doesn't want anyone knowing anything about her. But anyways, he burned up at the end of part 2, so you would think there'd be some kind of evidence on his body. You see his hands. He's not gloved. His hands are perfectly fine. You see his eyes, which I hated.
You really see his eyes all around him. And
so much. You see his eyes. Like, black that shit out, man. Like, I don't.
It looked fine a lot of times, though. If it was
got
lit
his eyes
properly.
shot out, duh. Them shits
Yeah, that's true too. But even if they would light it, that mask looked terrible when they lit it up, especially in that face-to-face scene.
Mask. I hate that mask. Fuck this mask. It's so terrible.
The lighting, a lot of times you couldn't tell how bad it was. I mean, they lit it properly for the most part. It was just, especially when they did the face-to-face and then the decapitation, they really showcased it right there. It rolled right in front of the camera and stared you right in the face.
I brought that up because you bring up a good point, because one thing I noticed was in the faraway shots, it is not the same mask that he's wearing. It's like almost between like when it was, I don't know if they had a stuntman or if the stuntman was Michael. I mean, that would make more sense. But from like faraway shots and stuff, that mask was different. I don't know if it was that different, but it was like white.
I read and I asked John Paul too, because he knows a lot about this one too for some reason, but he said there are 3 masks in this movie.
Okay.
And there's one that's got CGI stuff, which is the one at the end with the head
Oh,
head lop, I guess. And so they've created 3 different masks for this movie for some
Oh.
reason. What you're talking about, I noticed as well, far away. So
it was.
Well, I don't
it
think
made it-
any of them's worse than Resurrection, the Afro Michael.
Oh,
We'll get to
man.
that though. Jesus Christ.
yeah,
Yeah, that wasn't great either.
Yeah.
But anyways, at least in parts 4 through 6, like you see his hand is scarred up and stuff, and you don't see his eyes. So, but like you see some aftermath of the fire. There's nothing. 20 years, like, sorry, Wolverine, Michael Myers, it ain't happening. Like, you are not healed from that. You were in an inferno. Your face, flames on the side of my face, burning.
Well, he was in Northern Hollywood. There's a lot of plastic surgeons there.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're gonna get to that in Resurrection as well.
He just grabs somebody and he's like,
Yeah. LL Cool J was fun. Michael Myers pissed me off. The one arm pull up, like, go be a Marine.
Stupid.
They need killers. Go get them. Go get him, Tiger. This is what you were built for. Just pretend you're all Laurie. First film of Josh Hartnett and that hair.
Oh,
The meme. It's the meme.
yeah.
I love
Right
that.
up there
I
with
even
Courtney
said it when he
Cox.
walks by. When he walks by the barber shop, I even said, "Just walk in, dude. Just right there. Just go in. Get cleaned up."
Yeah. Exactly.
But I think he had bad hair everywhere. Like every movie he was in, The Faculty, he had the
that
same
was the cool
shitty
thing.
hairdo.
That was
Yeah,
right after.
that was everybody.
That was right after
guess
this,
so.
probably.
Yeah.
I feel like on the VHS for this, when I rented it, there was a preview for The Faculty. I could be totally wrong, but that feels familiar.
I think everything in this year had a preview for The Faculty on it. That was a heavy trailer for everybody.
Yeah. Probably for me, the best effect in this movie, besides the head chop was cool. But the dumbwaiter crushing that girl's leg, that was a really cool effect. That was an effective part. Like, I felt that. I was like, ooh, that gave me a visceral reaction. I love the inclusion of Janet Leigh. She was driving the same car as Psycho, and her name was Norma, and that was like a direct influence. I think she was even wearing like the same outfit.
Oh, from the movie? Yeah, from
Yeah.
Psycho? Yeah.
I think if I'm not mistaken, I read that. So that was cool, rare on-screen time with those two. I mean, but like as far as the story, I like Adam Arkin too. I thought he was a cool kind of smart dummy. He was dopey.
Yeah.
He was the
But that's
highlight
just
for
how
me.
he is, though.
I liked he has this interaction with the teenage girls where he asks
Yeah.
them what they're doing or something, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna go date rape some men or what?" It was like a date.
We're
rape
gonna
joke.
go
And then-
roofie some guys.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Do you want to go with us?" And he's like, "No, I got an appointment to get my nipples pierced later," or something like
Yeah,
that.
and he was so,
perfect
like-
comedy timing.
He was so deadpan Ray Romano about it. He's like, I'm gonna go get my nipples pierced.
Yeah, he's a good actor though. He might be the best one in the movie.
Oh, for sure. He was really, really good. But I mean, like, the story itself, I liked it when I was younger. For me, this one doesn't hold up. It's just like I've just seen so much more and like know much more about Halloween than I did when this was out. When this came out. And it's just not my favorite anymore. So I gave it a 5 because it was kind of just blah.
It's very mellow. Like it's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very tame.
It wasn't like there were no tense moments, and that face to face was just fucking mask, dude. God damn it. They could have tried. At least they tried on Resurrection with the
Lighting
not with
would
the
have helped it
hair,
out a lot.
but the whole
Why was it
The
so
whole-
lit up? It was so bright in that area. Like,
It's a posh school.
Yeah.
It's a posh private.
I guess so.
school. Laurie called
But
it.
so was the school in Black Christmas, right? That was kind of a poshy, like upscale thing. And that was a dark movie. Like everywhere's dark. But I guess it was the 70s. So, or was it the 70s or 80s? Early 80s. 81?
No, Black Christmas? The original Black
70s.
Christmas? No, that was like 70,
77?
75? Maybe earlier?
79. I don't know.
Hold on.
70s.
It's around there.
But hold on.
internet.
Let's get it.
We,
We
I
can't
got
move on.
Let's get a serious inquisition going here.
I done forgot the question.
74.
Oh.
Damn. Wow. I was
Yep.
thinking late 70s. Well, no wonder it looks so dark. Anyways, disregard. Continue.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, I gave it a 5.
All right, Ray, you want to hit it?
All right. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. So right off the bat, I remembered liking this one too from that time period, but in rewatching it, I felt the same way. Like this felt, I don't know, out of place almost for the franchise at this point. Even with 4, 5, and 6, felt more like Michael Myers Halloween movie to me than this. I don't know. Like I guess this felt more like Scream, and that's probably because, like I said, I'm pretty sure this treatment was Kevin Williamson's treatment, and then he quit or got fired or whatever, and then they brought in these guys to put their own little spin on it. I don't know, man. It just didn't feel like Halloween to me. Like, and I don't just mean the movie. I mean the season, right? Like it's so bright in California and it's lit up like we're just talking about. And you've got like it doesn't have that vibe, that how like a small town vibe to me. I just didn't like the setting, either this time around. But I'll just start with the pros though. Like I thought Josh Hartnett and Michelle Williams and Jamie Lee Curtis were all really great. We touched on the acting already. It was cool, Psycho reference, like you said, John. The story is it's still muddled. Like these timelines are so friggin' muddled, like I didn't know it was part 2. I thought it was coming off of part 1 because of the burn situation. Like, I'm like, oh, he's not all fucked up. So it must just be 20 years later after part 1, and none of the other stuff happened, I guess. I don't know. That's the way I was watching it. So
yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. Like 4 through 6 is its own thing.
Yeah.
Even though it is a direct sequel, even though 4 is a sequel to 2 because he's all burned up,
Right. So anyway,
yeah.
I thought it had a tight run time too. It wasn't too long. It wasn't too short. It was perfect sweet spot. I liked the head chop. I liked that it was very meta. It is winking at you as an audience member, knowing the stuff that we know about the original movies and things. I thought it was pretty cool. But from there, I get like, I don't know, maybe nitpicky in my old age, but we refer to this guy as the Shape. This dude's like a string bean. He's like a tall, anorexic Michael Myers. He doesn't seem imposing to me at all. The masks look like shit up close. The kills are non-existent. I mean, when they are there, you're like, okay, that's all right, I guess. I mean, Jason, you said that there weren't a lot of kills in the originals, and maybe I'm misremembering, but I thought it felt like quite a bit more than this movie, and I felt like they were more violent and imposing. This was just kind of like, one and done. I don't know. I didn't feel threatened at all when I was watching this go around. The soundtrack I thought was okay too. Like it had like you said, it ramped up in the right spots and it was fun, but that whole ending until the ambulance seemed to go on a little bit too long and the music just got overbearing, I felt, in that part. I thought the dialogue was a little bit off too. I mean, these have never been like, Oscar winning movies, but it's always had some pretty decent banter, and I didn't feel like the kids really felt real to me at all. So they felt like actors, even though they did good with what they had. So I'd say again, and I'd say the 2018 one is a way better sequel to the original movie than this is by a million miles. So, but I liked again watching it. I would watch this one again. I'm not going to throw it out of my rotation ever. I gave this a 6 out of 10. So,
Right on. I imagine when this came out, like if you were we were all pretty young at the time. So I know that I was watching these sort of movies, but I wasn't like a hardcore Halloween fan. I imagine if you were like an older person, like a 20, 30-year-old who had been watching the Halloween movies since the 70s or whatever, like you probably caught the first one in the fucking theater when you were a kid or whatever. That when this came out, it probably fucked you up, confused the shit out of you, because the last thing we literally dealt with was a 3-story arc involving Laurie's daughter, right? So then we come into this. Now she's got a son who's an adult, and also she has her life together way more than she ever fucking had before. She's in a college now. Like, how did that happen? But regardless, Josh Hartnett's hair really does deserve like its own Instagram. I don't know if that is a thing yet, but it should be, because it looks like he cut that shit with one of them Floby things from back. Remember that, like it was like a vacuum that would cut your hair. Crazy.
Butt cut.
The mask is probably the only serious problem I have with this. I don't have any problem with any of the kills. There's, like you said, there's not a lot of them, but sometimes, occasionally in this movie, they really fucking nail an effect. Like when the girl gets her foot caught in the dumbwaiter, and that's fucking gruesome, man. That is a gruesome effect. And
that's probably the best thing about the movie.
Yeah. But just like all these other Michael Myers movies, I have a really hard time understanding why this monster man with superhuman strength is having such a fucking hard time getting rid of this normal sized woman with the strength of a normal sized woman. I just don't understand it. I saw him stick a man to the fucking wall with a knife. Why can't he kill her? She's right there. But
right there.
It's just a quick strangle or a neck snap, right? Like, it's really not, let's not get overly involved. The ending, it really does highlight that mask. You can see Michael's kind eyes, which is weird to me, because I remember hearing that he has the eyes of a doll. He has doll's eyes. The eyes of evil. These eyes are not evil. They're very kind, and it looks like he wants to give her a Valentine or something. He's really a nice guy, but yeah, it looks like you put a puppy in his arms and he'd be all right to pass away slowly. But yeah, 5 out of 10. It's not terrible. It's not great. It's not my favorite one. Like I said, 6 is my favorite. I think it'll remain my favorite for a while. They did a lot of weird shit in 6.
Especially in that producer's cut, man. Holy cow.
Maybe I'll see that someday.
Oh, it's on Blu-ray. You can get it.
Huh. Well, what is mine? I just fucking bought that. I'll never know.
I got it.
Widescreen version. That's all it says.
All right.
Is that
It's
the one
89
like
minutes, it's 89 minutes, so I assume that's theatrical.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He's got full screen.
Vamos, se me salvou, na crescente, não se vê, na frente, acaba, que é um web,